for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Work. Mine works. Hopefully Will's doesn't.
Will.
No.
Okay. Welcome back to the second half. Hope you enjoyed the pie and pea. We just had a quick request. This is for you guys. It's from Table 5, and it's from Adam. Adam's the manager of the Butcher's Arms FC, and he's just asked if anyone's available on a Sunday morning. They're happy to negotiate terms, and they do pay expenses. That's the Butcher's Arms. Anyone?
I'm in.
There you go.
I want some lamb, please.
Where's Adam? Where's Adam? There he is, Adam, manager of the Butcher's Arms. You got 2 signings there, Adam. Okay, so we're going to get cracking for the second half, and we're going to start all about your time at Rotherham United. Who was the best player you played with at Rotherham? Alfie, we'll start at the end with you.
I think Lawsey. I think technically he was a tremendous player. Had a special ability to just glide past people. Probably a little bit too laid back as a personality, but technically a joke of a player. I think probably the best player I played with at Rotherham for sure.
Any highlights, anything you can remember, anything he did in a game that really stood out to you?
No, not really. To be fair, he's the best player, but he didn't score and he didn't set up. But he was not good. You know, like he ran past people a few times. Now, when you look back, he didn't impact the game that much, but just technically he was a joke. And he could just take the piss out of people. But like I say, he was a little bit laid back, so he didn't impose himself enough on games. So it's probably a detriment to himself, really, because he probably didn't get the most out of himself while he was here.
Nigel, weren't here that long, but who stood out for you as a player?
Well, like I say, it's very hard into 3 months, but I love my relationship with Sean Gota as a striking partner. We complemented each other very well. But I thought Matt Clark in goal was exceptional, and obviously went on to bigger things, sort of things. So, but it's very hard, to judge people over that short time. They all had, attributes, and you look at Ian Breckin. I mentioned him. He's a great centre half. He went on to play for Forest as well. Roscoe, Goodwin, Hurst, the list goes on really. So
some great players you played with while you were here.
Very fortunate.
Will, same question to you.
I think for me, I come through a transitional period where I started off in the traditional 4-4-2 before then moving on, and where the game then changed into different roles, 4-3-3, different positions. But for me, looking at players back then, when I first come through, you had your midfielders and your defenders who were strong, but the one that I think that could have played in the same era all the way through, I think could have been Mike Pollitt for me. I think as a goalkeeper, he was a very good goalkeeper. But Rotherham, I would say Polly was probably one of the best that, and I think in them periods it would have saved us a lot of points as well.
Fantastic. Matt, same to you.
It's an hard one. I'd probably go for young Ben Pringle, to be honest with you. I think only because I think as a centre forward,
how much? Is that what the 100 quid was he just gave him?
Did you see that? Did you see it? Thanks, mate.
Stand up. Give everyone a wave, Ben. Give everyone a wave. Stand up. There he is, right in the corner there.
What a red face. No, thanks, I've got one.
I just think because you knew exactly what you were going to get from him. He couldn't fucking run, but you knew he was going to take a touch out of his feet and whip him with his left foot. And as a forward, that's exactly what you want to receive. So yeah, he definitely wasn't going to take players on. But no, Ben.
Fantastic. You've all had fantastic careers, as we've mentioned, but what manager influenced your career the most? Nigel, I'm going to come to you first. Played under some fantastic managers, Brian Clough, Trevor Francis, to name a couple. Talk to us about your most influential manager.
Well, like I said, obviously, life with Brian Clough wasn't dull at all. Even the day I signed, I went down with my parents and John McGrath, my manager, and his driver. We got down to the City Ground, and obviously I couldn't wait to meet him. I've already seen him on TV with his green jumper on and his tracksuit bottoms and whatever. And we're sitting there. Then after about half an hour, nothing was being discussed about my move, and suddenly his PA, a lady called Carol, she took my parents to town to obviously buy them some gifts. He ordered me to take his dog for a walk down the river, and I didn't even know there was a fucking river in Nottingham. So I took his dog for and then John McGrath did a deal, the contract that I was going to sign. And on the way back, I didn't know, but he told me that he got £5,000 in cash for doing my contract. So that was that there. But I've got loads of stories about Cloughie, and for all those modern day managers nowadays, put yourself in my position here as an 18-year-old. So we talk about superstition. So whenever I played, I always used to put on my socks, my shorts, a t-shirt and a jumper to go out and warm up. And then obviously when I came in after the warm-up, I put my match shirt on. So I'm away at Southampton and I do the same thing, but this time I'm substitute. So after the first half, we get told to stay out and obviously have a warm-up. So we're kicking the ball around. So obviously go back into the dugout for the second half. Then suddenly Cloughie tells me to go warm up. And I think, shit, I've got no top. So I'm thinking, what do I do here? So he then goes, young man, are you ready to go on? So I went, yes, boss. So
where was you from, mate?
So Terry Wilson was in front of me. I went, Terry, you have to give me a shirt. So he got number 14 shirt on. So I put it on. And they introduced me, substitute for Nottingham Forest, number 14, Terry Wilson. So I thought, oh shit, I'm in trouble here. So at the end of the game, get in. After about 5 minutes, nothing said. I thought I've got away with it. Then suddenly he went, young Jemson, if I get fined by the FA for fucking you with your wrong number on, you're fucking paying for it. And by the way, here's £100 because you're not coming back with me. You find your own way home. So I had to get the train back from Southampton to London to Nottingham. But by the way, I didn't forget my shirt ever again. So that was a typical Cloughie story. Imagine that happening nowadays. It wouldn't happen. But I played under Trevor Francis at Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, I feel the same as well, to be honest. I broke down on the M1 going up there for talks. So that was a saying, that tell me something. But I did eventually sign. So 1 week, we got a blank week, and Trevor decided to take us to Belfast to play obviously an exhibition game. So we fly over there, we get to the hotel Wednesday lunchtime, and he reads us the right tack saying, listen, boys, we're coming over here, we're having a game. You can have a few drinks after the game. He said, but whatever you do, you're not fucking going out. He said, because you know it's like in Belfast. There's all sorts of trouble. You could get shot. I'm just not having it. So we play the game, we come back, we get changed into our jeans and stuff, and then Chris Waller says, come on, boys. He said, if we were in Sheffield now on a Wednesday, we'd go out. So 8 of us decided to go out. So Richie Barker saw us going out. Gordon Watson gave him the royal wave as we were going out, as they say, bollocks, I'm going out. So we go out, and we have a really good time, we get pissed. Next morning, Trevor takes us to training on a Thursday before we fly back home, and he obviously goes mad. He says, listen, boys, he said, I can't believe you've gone against what I said about going out in Belfast. I said, anything could happen. I've told you you couldn't go out. He said, but you've disobeyed us. He said, listen, Ersty, we've had £3 million bidding for Man United. He said, we can't afford anything that's happened to you whatsoever. Chris Waddle, experienced player, played at the highest level. What the fuck are you doing going out? Carlton, England international. And he turns around to myself. He went, and you, I don't give a fuck if you get shot or not.
Thanks, Nigel. Alfie played all over the world. Must have been played on some fantastic managers. Tell us who inspired you the most and any stories about them.
Well, it's a bit sad, but I'd probably say my dad. In junior football, he installed a lot of things in me as a kid, which helped me become the man I am today. Ugh. But yeah, and then in the game, I think obviously, Brian McDermott, when he signed me for Reading, obviously from Rotherham, opened my eyes to the level of the Championship and what it takes to be a Championship footballer. And obviously beyond that, when I went to the Premier League with him, and the levels you have to be, the professionalism, the application you need as a player, whilst obviously, honing your craft as well to get better technically, tactically, mentally, etc., all the nitty gritty of football. And for just general love as a player, I think Neil Lennon. I've had a brief spell with him, and he's obviously a very colourful character. But he was someone who adored me. And at the point in my career where I had a bit of a lull at Cardiff, needed a bit of love, and he gave me more than enough.
Tell us more.
Oh, well, let me tell you. Yeah, so, I'm sure it'll resonate with strikers, in a dressing room before a game. Yeah, well, it was a little bit like that. He'd come up to me, sneak behind me, whisper in my ear. He'd be like, "You're the best striker in the league."
Drop your pants down.
In your ear. Well, and he was one of them managers where he'd shout at everyone else. It was a game we played Forest away. We were 4-1 down at half time. He goes, "Alfie, Ida, Zach Clough, go and sit in the showers. Everyone else, stay fucking here." So we're thinking, what the fuck's going on? So next minute, "You fucking bunch of cunts, blah, 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 blah. You, them three in there, they're away from it because they played well. You're shit." We were like, ha, 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 ha. Come back in. "Right, lads, what's happened?" "Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and tighten up." So like, right, okay. So he's gone, "Emil, come on up front with me. Matt Mills, don't get sent off, whatever you do. You're on a booking. Don't tackle Michael Antonio." Yeah, no worries. First thing, obviously, Michael Antonio rolls Matt Mills, yellow card off. So I'm thinking, fuck me, what's going on? I'm getting brought off here. And he goes, "Emil." So he's put Heskey at centre half for 45 minutes, and obviously we got fucking pummeled for the rest of the game. And he comes in afterwards and he's just like, "No one made a tackle all game apart from him." Points at me. I was like, "I don't remember tackling anyone." He's like, You stupid bastard. Why did you 2-foot that guy?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I did. I should have got sent off." "You should have got fucking sent off. Don't fucking do that again because you'll miss 3 games. I was like, "Oh, right." He's like, "But I love it though." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, he was just mental. And it was very similar to stuff like that. We played Brentford away and it was a hot day in London. We're in the dressing room and we're thinking we're having a team talk. And he's sat in the corner with the club doc, holding him. And he's like, all the lads are like, "Is he all right, him, or what?" He's like, "Lads, get out." Bearing in mind, it's 2:00. We're like, "Get out." He's like, go out, lads, go and warm up." Well, you don't go out for a warm up till 2:20. I was like, "What's up with you?" He's like, "I'm having palpitations. It's too close in here. It's too hot." So we're like, what the fuck is going on here? The doc's like, obviously, there's like 5 lads have gone out, 6, 7 lads going out. Well, I'm sat in there and he's like, not sure he's going to take the game. And then the assistant goes, "Oh, yeah, he was out till 5 a.m. last night. So he was fucking absolutely cabbage trying to take the game." So we were like, what the fuck is going on? And he's just like, actually, that's like a normal Neil Lennon day. So like, he'd just do mad shit like that. But for me, he was amazing. Like, obviously, with all the antics he had, he gave me so much love and brought a lot of joy to me back into goal scoring. He got me in great form, and I did really well for him, and I loved him. Like, he was just a funny man. Like, I'd never seen such a colourful manager before. Passionate as well. Like, I don't think it ended great for him at Bolton, but the 3-4 months I worked with him was just incredible. There's some of the most amazing scenes I've seen in training, and after games, throwing the shakes everywhere, 2 foot in a bloody tackling a tactics board, all the sort of colourful things you expect to see. they all came from him. Like I'd never really seen another manager like that in the space of 3 months do everything that every other manager that you expect people to say about do, and he just did it all. I was just like, wow, what am I going to see today? Like there was one game where he shouted at me for a game, and then he rang me up at the night and apologised. I was like, I never had that. I never had a manager shout at me and then ring me up afterwards and say, you know what, I'm sorry. I was like, took back the missus. I was like, I don't know how to take this. Like, how am I meant to take this? This guy who's like the most fiery guy ever in front of everyone, he's saying sorry to me. That sort of like it endeared me more to him. I was like, yeah, I'll do anything. I'll run for a brick wall for him. Unfortunately, I didn't get to work with him any longer because Bolton went into turmoil after that, and they went down a dark path, and now they've come out of it and stuff. But I think for him, he was one player who really did make me love football again.
Thanks, Alfie. That's great. Matt, again, you played all over the world. Must have played under some great managers. Any memories, any stories that stand out for you?
I think my first manager at Blackburn would have been Mark Hughes, bringing me through the academy system and bringing me into the first team and basically teaching me my craft, if you will. I remember spending lots of time with him on the training ground after training and working on finishing and stuff like that. And obviously to work with Mark Hughes, such an iconic, obviously manager and player, to work with him day to day on finishing was obviously a massive privilege for myself, and it learned me a lot, to be honest with you. So obviously he would be the one that would be if I had to say one manager, it would be him. Secondly, just for man management sort of style, it would have to be Warnock. Just the way he handled his players, the way he was as a man. I mean, listen, if he didn't like you, you're in trouble, mate. You've got no chance.
I was in trouble.
Yeah. But if you like you, and obviously you did well for him, you ran for a brick wall for him, whatever it might be, it would really help you. Whether that's with your family not coming in on a Sunday, if you're travelling far like I was, take Sunday off. Other lads are in. You have Sunday off, and we'll see you Monday morning. So them little touches are great. In regards to football itself, learning the game, I'd probably say a manager called Ernesto Valverde. He used to manage Barcelona. Yeah, I had him.
Ooh.
I had him at Olympiacos when I went there. Obviously, it didn't start well because when I signed for him from Blackburn, I walked in. I just signed for a decent fee. I don't need to say ooh again.
No.
For a decent fee from Blackburn, and he came up to me and went, "We didn't really want you, mate, but we'll work with you." So I've just signed a 4-year deal for him. Do you know what I mean? From my bio club. So I was a big shock, big eye opener, and but no, he kind of really learned me how they play abroad. And I remember opening up on running down the channel, coming back outside, whipping a ball across the other side of the pitch. Fantastic ball, landed on the other winger's feet, and he's like, no. I want it here. So it was a different way to understand football, not just the way it is played in England.
We had a question from the fans actually regarding playing out in Europe, playing in different countries. What was the standard like, if you can measure it to playing in England? Where would you put it?
I would say it's not as end to end. It's not as the speed of the game is nowhere near as it is in England, but technically it's unbelievable. You can see Champions League every single year, whether that was in Cyprus or in Greece. They got to play the Champions League and they did well. And obviously, as you can see, there's a major European trophy as well. So the standard is very, very, very good, and a lot of people don't understand that. But until you go there and witness it and play in it, obviously playing in the heat as well, is a massive thing to take into consideration. But no, it's a very good stand.
Alfie, you did it as well, obviously going out to the A-League. Talk to us about that. What was the standard like over there compared to what you were used to maybe over here?
It's very eye-opening. I think you're led to believe as an English footballer that English football is the only football that's played ever. And when you go over there, you realise that there's some talented players playing over there. I remember going to Sydney on one of my first training sessions. We had a player, a Serbian lad called Milos Ninkovic, and I'd never heard of him. And he played for Troyes in France and played at the World Cup for Serbia. And you get in training with him and you just can't get the ball off him. is incredible. The teams, the disparity in the league's quite vast. The top 4 or 5 teams are really good teams, have some really talented players, and then it sort of obviously wheedles down as you go through the league of where they finish and what money they put in and into how they do standard wise. But yeah, the style of play is very much build up. They all want to, have a philosophy of playing out from the back. They don't really, just shell it, or it's not really too transitional, but it does end up like that in that 60th minute. The game in the A-League will just end up like a basketball game because you're counter-attacking a counter-attack in the end, and it's sort of whose counter-attack wins. But the first 60 is actually a bit like a chess match if you can actually play football and you're in a good team who dominate the ball. So I was lucky that I played for a team that, played the right way. We dominated the ball and had a lot of success doing that.
Fantastic. Will, I'm going to come back to you now, obviously, talk about managers. You played under a lot of managers. Who influenced you the most, and any stories?
Were these questions relayed to the audience before? Because Ronnie and Brett just had me outside a minute ago. No, I have to say, like, from a point of view, I didn't work with Ronnie and Brett so much because obviously I was doing like coming through, but for them to give me that platform to put me on that professional stage was unbelievable. So thank you. But for me, influential wise, I've had many managers, but Brendan Rodgers come in from a tactical point of view. He was unbelievable. He was above his time when he come in. Man management, very questionable, but you're very touchy-feely, like to a point where
And you said that about Lennon about me.
No,
got touched.
No, well,
Are you okay, mate?
no, I'm going through a period.
You got something to tell us?
No, he'd just be very
Safe
much
space.
in a sense of he spoke a foreign language, but was with an accent which he was very English. I think we've all seen the McLaren sort of stuff when he speaks in that language. It was pretty odd, but tactically and technically he was brilliant. He knew his stuff. And then for me, Gus Poyet, the way he saw the game, it was a very mix of the dark arts mixed in with proper football, and some of the little key things that he had implement were fantastic. I think obviously being South American, being very flamboyant, he'd go above and beyond sometimes, and it'd be too much. But man management wise, I had a massive struggle at Brighton with injury, but he'd always make you feel like we were doing well at the time, but he'd always go, if we had you, we'd be better. And you'd go, okay, because you're going through a tough time. So for me, he was brilliant in that sense. But yeah, like I say, tactically, he was always brilliant as well. So he had a very good blend. And then, like I say as well, Alan Neil, being my youth manager, being my first team manager, and the career he's had, there's, having the connection with Rotherham, that's the one for me, yeah.
Amazing. We had a question from Stephen at table 22, and this is to all of you. Describe your time at Rotherham and what the club means to you, what it meant to you then, what it means to you now, and how it changed your career playing at Rotherham. So, Matt, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, sure. I think leaving Nottingham Forest at the time, I was going for a period where it was, I was having a tough time in football, and I came to Rotherham, and I found a home here. I found a squad of players which was like my family. I really enjoyed coming in every single day. I found my love for football again, and I enjoyed the 2 seasons I was here, and I wish I could do it all again. But no, it really, to sum it up, the club means a lot to me because I got my love for football again. Yeah,
great to hear.
Thank you.
Will, same question to you. Obviously started at Rotherham, so tell us what the club means to you.
It's actually some of the best days of my life. If you've gone through football, youth team is one of the best times ever. And it was through a period where youth team players you had initiations, you had to have a bit of character, you were tested, you were put to the max with pros, not bullying. You see it a lot in, a lot of clubs where it's classed as bullying and XYZ, but no, you were meant to you're meant to be made into something that when you went into that first team or you trained with those pros, you were ready. And for me, I left school, moved into Diggs, and joined the youth team scholarship here. And I've got 2 youth team players with me today, Felzy and Muds over there. Say hello. They will tell you the youth team days are the best. And I had the best days at Rotherham. Obviously, it always helps if you do well, get through to the first team. It's always an added bonus. But I wouldn't change them days at all. And they were brilliant. And the lads were brilliant. We had a good group. And it's not like it is nowadays. You see academies where a lot of lads make it through because they're allowed to go through to the ages of 23. With us, it was you had to make it by 18. There was 2 or 3 that might have got a third year where you was 18, 19 and looked at closer. But if not, you were sort of chewed up and spit out. So you had to dig in, be good. And like I say, it was one of the best times of my life, and I'd love to do it all over again.
So good to hear. Nigel, not at the club long, 3 months, like you said. You had a huge impact on the club, but what impact did the club have on you?
Yeah, it's very hard to obviously say how good it was because it was such a short space of time. But what I can say was I spent a lot of time talking to Archie Gill and John McGovern about coming here, and they persuaded me to come here. They got me out of a situation where I didn't want to be at Notts County, and they offered me freedom, football to go on, show what I can do. And even though it was only for 3 months, and I wish it had been more, but it wasn't. I'd like to think that it was good for both parties, for myself and for the football club. And it was so good that it all ended on a positive note, and we ended up with the trophy at the end of the loan period. So, I thank everyone connected. They made me very welcome. It's a football club that, I can't thank enough, and it's been brilliant.
Again, so good to hear. Alfie scored so many goals for the Millers. Talk to us about what this club means to you.
Yeah, I think for me, kind of synonymous with Rotherham. I think obviously I came through at Stockport and had a great spell at Rochdale, but I think Rotherham for me gave the platform to become the player that I became off the back of that. The goals I scored helped me get to the Premier League, and I don't get that without Rotherham. And I think that's why we've always had a great connection with the fans, and why I've always been remembered fondly here, because I've loved it here. I love my time here. I love scoring goals. Who doesn't bloody love scoring goals? So I think that's what I'll always take away, is that the platform that Rotherham gave me to play and allowed to score, even if it was at Don Valley, it helped shape my career effectively. And I can't thank them enough for that, because without Rotherham I don't go to the Premier League and play at the highest level I can do. So I thank them for that, and thank the fans for supporting me through that as well.
Stephen, I hope that answered your question. Fantastic to hear from all 4. Matt, I'm going to come to you now. We're going to have a chat about your career in football from non-league to Blackburn Rovers. Talk to us about that move. You mentioned it earlier. There was a small fee involved, but talk to us about how it all came about.
Gosh, how long have you got? So yeah, I think I was working for Blackburn Rovers in the community to start off with. Coaching kids with disability, etc. Playing for Great Harbour Town in the in North West Counties Division 2, and yeah, just I had a season there which didn't do too well. Second season, had a great pre-season, went in and scored quite a few goals, and teams started to knock on the door. Your likes of Everton's and Burnley's and your Man United's and stuff, but
and you turned down Man United, I've heard.
Yeah, I did. Genuinely did, to be honest with you. But
Try to say I didn't.
It's one of them things. I didn't turn down Alex Ferguson. I turned down the contract from the actual academy. because I was a Blackburn Rovers fan and I wanted to sign for my hometown club. And it was a case of going on trial at Blackburn instead of taking the contract at Manchester United. So I went on trial there, did well, obviously got the contract, and the rest was history.
And had an amazing start. Young Player of the Year, 04-05.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you as a Blackburn fan?
Yeah, it was great. I had a good start to my career at Blackburn. I scored quite a few goals and, just worked as hard as I possibly could, and, managed to get into the first team squad quite quickly from being an apprentice to going, to the first team. It was, within 12 to 14 months. So it was quite a quick transition.
And your Premier League debut against Fulham.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that day. Did you know you were going to be playing that day?
No, I think it was the day before we got given a squad number. Me and my pal together, Andy Taylor. He played for Sheffield United. We got given a squad number each the day before, and he said, "You're not going to be in the squad tomorrow." You never think you're going to be in the squad. You never think you're going to get on the pitch. But fortunately for me, it was a great day. Unlucky for him, it wasn't. He didn't get on. I did, yes. But no, I got my debut. I remember coming on for the last 15 minutes, I think, against Fulham, running down the right wing, and Zach Knight absolutely smashed me, mate. And I had the biggest dead leg ever. And I couldn't run, I couldn't walk, nothing. But no one was taking me off that pitch. So I hobbled myself around the pitch for the last 15 minutes, and it was one of the things that, regardless of wherever my career went after that, no one was ever going to take that away from me.
Big memory, big highlight for you.
Absolutely.
What about your first Premier League goal?
It was against Wigan, away from home. I remember that, yeah. Ball got played across to Morton Gams Pedersen. I think we remember him. Does anyone remember him? Yeah. Good winger. And he headed it back across field, and I managed to tap it in and be in the right place at the right time.
And we mentioned earlier, playing abroad. How did that come about? Is it something you wanted to do, or did it just happen naturally?
At the start, I just signed a 4-year contract at Blackburn, and Big Sam Allardyce came in. And he had Big Jason Roberts at the time, Benny McCarthy, and Rocky Santa Cruz, and he liked to play in a one up front. So me being me, as I've always done across my career, is if I'm not playing, I'm moving, regardless of what I've got signed, money wise, whatever it might be. So I asked my agent to go out there and have a look, what's about. And we'd played Olympiacos in pre-season, and obviously I came on and did okay there. And they've obviously remembered that. And my agent's come back to me and said, "Listen, they're interested in you. Would you go out on loan for for the last 6 months, whatever it might be?" So I jumped at the chance, because obviously I knew the players that they had, like Rivaldo and people like that had played there, and the players that they have, and they're always playing in Champions League, Europa League, and it's an opportunity for me to go there, do well, and maybe have an opportunity to go and play in the Champions League.
And you did amazing out there as well, didn't you? You won the Super League, the Greek Super League, and the Cup as well. So 2 of the biggest things out there. How did that feel?
It was great. It was being an English lad, going over to, especially a lad from Blackburn, going over to Athens and making a name for yourself was a dream come true, to be honest with you. And obviously to go and pick up some silverware along the way, a cup and a league, and then to come back to Blackburn, because obviously that was only a loan period, and then walk in the door, and Sam Allardyce said to me, "You didn't do too well though, did you, mate?" You know what I mean? And I was thinking, that was obviously one of the reasons we fell out in the end afterwards. But the lads were always saying, "Well, bring your winners' medals in," where I'm at the dinner table and stuff like that. But I was never that sort of person. But yeah, it was good to win the silverware, and obviously in the end, the fans abroad kind of pick who they want to sign. Really, it's a strange place. So obviously, let's say I played it well for you guys here, and you said, "Listen to the chairman, we want him. If we don't get him, there's going to be trouble." So that's what kind of happened, and I ended up signing for a few quid from Blackburn, and the rest was history from there. Yeah.
And finally, coming here to the Millers, I know we've spoken about like favourite goals, etc. But talk about your highlights while you were here, and also before that, how the move came about.
I had a couple of chats to go to be honest with you, and I mentioned this before. So I'd gone from Nottingham Forest, and I had Rotherham to go to, and a few others throughout the day, and throughout the week. But I'd not, obviously we went to go and see Big Steve, and straight away I've come out of the meeting, I've gone, Jesus Christ, this is unbelievable. Like, wow. He said, we'll not show you the training ground now, we'll show you that next week. I was like, no, Steve, it's all right, Steve, don't worry, I'm good. He said, this is what we're going to give you. This is who you're going to be playing with. We want to play up front with big revs, and you can work off him, etc. But every time he flicked on, he chases on fucking flick on the revs. But yeah, he sold me the dream. He's he's going to be the starting man or whatever. What every player wants to hear, he said. And yeah, obviously when we got to the training ground, the training ground was a lot better than it is now, and yeah. And then obviously Steve got onto the training ground. Listen, Steve's done amazing things for this club, and he's an amazing person. But as you all know, on the training ground is a different character, on the pitch a different character. What you see, day to day. But again, I will go back to he's a born winner. He wants to win, and if it ain't going well, he just shows his emotions in a very different way to most people. 99.9% of people. Yeah.
And a question from the fans just for you: New York Stadium or Cyprus?
Cyprus. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It was very quick. I'm sorry, but listen, I had a great time here, but I love the sun.
Oh, not particularly. It's just one of them things. Sometimes it's just not your day. Obviously, Tails had a great game, so I'll say I had an assist, but I didn't. But I say they were trying to mark me, but no, it wasn't. It was just one of them games where they got the better of me, and it was you live and you learn, really, and you dust yourself down and you try and change it for the next game.
That's it. So a couple of times in your career, you scored 4 goals in one game. There was the 6-4 against Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that game.
Yeah, it's a weird one, really, because just everything went in. Even my last goal, when it was like a P roll, it shouldn't have beat like a 5-year-old keeper, let alone Cheltenham's keeper for that one. I missed a pen and got the rebound. I had a diving header where my head nearly got booted off. Shot from outside the box, which I don't normally do, and it went in. So, it's sort of goals where just everything was falling in for me. And, we looked really good that day as well. We were really good going forward. So, yeah, just everything went right. I think for a player, you know yourself, when Will was saying before, when you're in that mode and you feel like everything's going right for you, you capitalise on that. And that day I did. I was obviously score 4, but I probably would have liked to score 5 or 6, really, the way I play.
Sorry.
No worries. I'll let you off.
Someone came to speak to me. So why do you think you settled so well at Rotherham and scored so many goals?
I don't know. I think obviously I'd done well at Rochdale, scored 40-odd goals for them in 2 seasons. I just think I was ready to be an established 9, and Rotherham were ready to do. Like, they were telling me that's what I'm going to be, and I knew that in my mindset that I needed to play week in, week out, and I would deliver the goods. And I knew I was going to score goals, if that was my mindset. So I went into every game thinking I was going to score. I went on loads of runs during the season where it was like 7-7 and that sort of thing. And like I say, we almost felt invincible a lot of the time when I'm going playing, thinking I'm going to score no matter what or no matter who I'm playing. And to be fair, I've always had that mindset. No matter, like when I was playing the Premier League, if I was going to play, I thought I was going to score. So it just sort of worked. Everything sort of clicked for me at Rotherham, and like I say, they give me the platform to play week in, week out, to score them goals, which inevitably moved me on and moved to the Championship. That got me to the Premier League as well.
And what was your relationship like with the fans?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, when I could see them on, all sat way back in the stand, and they could tell which one I was. It was great. I always had a great relationship. I think always with strikers, if you've done well at the club, you tend to have a good relationship with the fans because they tend to be cheering for you because normally you're the one doing the business for them. And I think as a striker, you always want to be well liked from the fans as well. It's always nice being fondly remembered and being chanted for. You always want to be that hero. And I was lucky to score a lot of crucial goals for us and ultimately, score a lot of goals for us in the end. And it was fantastic to have a great relationship with the fans. And even on social media after I left, there was always well wishes. There was always, he played for Rotherham, and I had made no means about that. Yeah, I did play at Rotherham. I was pretty much made at Rotherham where, like I say, they helped me get to where I, went to in my career and play at a higher level. So I think that's why I have such a good relationship with the fans and with the club as a whole. And
it, like you said, it took you to the Premier League. Must have been a dream come true, making your debut, scoring goals. Talk to us about, the 12 goals you scored. Anything that stands out there?
Yeah, it was incredible, really. I think for me, obviously, the first game of the season, playing against Stoke at home. The season before I started, we played at home at Don Valley. I didn't score, so I won't remember it. And then I played 5 games before I moved, scored 4 goals, thought, I'm going to have to stay the season and leave on a free at the end of that season. Fast forward 12 months later, I'm taking a penalty in the 90th minute to equalise in my first ever Premier League game. So it was a real surreal moment. I think, racing home, watching Match of the Day, hearing Alan Shearer talk about me, no disrespect to like Manish or Clem, who's on, football, whatever it was, the Football League show. Everyone as a kid wants to go home and watch Match of the Day. And I raced home, watched it, and, they're talking about me scoring a pen in the 90th minute. It was sort of things that dreams, come true. And that sort of things for me were something I couldn't have grasped, 12 months earlier. Obviously, I wanted to play higher, but I didn't think I'd get to the Premier League, and it was a nice, testament to myself, how hard I've worked to get there and thrive there. Obviously I had a great season there. Personally, obviously team-wise, it was shit because we got relegated, but ultimately you roll with it and you just go again. And, I loved playing the Premier League. I felt like I was more suited to playing the Premier League than I was the Championship, just with the technical level and obviously the physicality of the league as well.
Well, like we mentioned, you were Premier League Player of the Month, January 2013. Yeah. Jack from table 15. How close was the England recognition? Did you hear about it? Was it close? Was it on the cards?
Yeah, I actually got pulled in just after I got Player of the Month. They'd been talking about me. The manager pulled me in, Brian McDermott pulled me in and said, I've had Ray Lewington on. Roy might call you up. We're not too sure yet. Jermaine Defoe's just pulled out, I think it was. So I'm thinking, well, if Defoe's pulled out, like for like, I've just got Player of the Month, I'm going to get called up. And to be fair, Brian McDermott was pretty much saying like, yeah, you're going to get called up. And then about 2 days later, I watch on Sky, yeah, we're not calling anyone up. Walcott's going to play up front. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to do a little bit more here. And then I go on a barren spell, and that was the end of that, really. I didn't score for about a month and a half. Manager got sacked, and, that was it. And then I scored a couple at the end of the season, but it was a little bit too late by then.
So it didn't come out again, but no. It must have felt really good at the time to have the phone call and.
I'd rather not, yeah, because really? You dream about it. You dream about that as a kid playing for England. Everyone dreams about playing at the World Cup or whatever, scoring the winner in the World Cup for your nation. And to sort of hear them whispers after what I'd done in January was real good recognition, but ultimately it didn't come. So it was a bit like a pipe dream, really. So it's obviously disappointing not to do it, but when I look back, probably it's nice recognition to even be thought of in that vein. But it's great to even be thought of, like I say.
Of course, yeah.
Sort of.
And you mentioned earlier, you played abroad, went to Sydney in the A-League. Won the league, won trophies again. Talk to us about your time out there. And again, you scored a hell of a lot of goals.
Yeah, it was amazing. I spent the most time at one club at Sydney, did 4.5 years there, second leading all-time goal scorer there. So I had a great time. Just obviously lifestyle, got 3 children, a wife, living on a beach pretty much every day. Go, 300 days of sun, like Darb says, living in the sun's a little bit different than, at the time I was driving up the 61 and there's always a grey cloud over Bolton and it's pissing it down. So, to trade that off for trophies and success was a no-brainer for me, and an amazing time, just family-wise and lifestyle-wise was unreal. I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Alfie, great to hear. Give him a big round of applause. Adam Lafondra. Quick little question from table 11. It's Keon. Now, any of you guys can take this one. He said, did you go on nights out at Rotherham United?
Thinks you can do this one, mate.
And any stories?
Are we talking the beach and zone days? Or
we're talking whatever you want to talk about.
There's a few pokes up now, aren't there? Close your ears. I think, growing up as a young lad, it was a different era, especially for me. There was, you had the drinking culture within in football, which there isn't now. But you had that obviously within first team, but you had that within obviously youth team as well, you young lads. And you were always told you're not allowed out Thursday, Friday nights before games, and you didn't. But Rotherham, around here, it's a good night out. So yeah, you'd sort of do a few little spells on the Thursday nights in Rotherham, see what it was about. But you're a young lad, but you just made sure that you got back and you put your head down and you worked hard work hard, play hard.
Any team nights out? Any stories that anyone can add to that? It's all gone very quiet.
Not allowed to. not allowed to say the stories. What go on, mate? Sorry, Paul.
No problem. Nigel, quick one for you. Do you remember a game away at Carlisle?
Yes.
And it was absolutely freezing, and the game went ahead, and you were playing on ice.
Yeah, the area final, wasn't it? The auto windscreen. In fact, I spoke to the fellow over there with the orange T-shirt there. He said that there was snow, and he stopped at Carlisle for 2 days. He must have had a bird on because it wasn't that bad. We got home okay.
Fantastic. Now we're going to open the floor. Bit of a Q&A. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to let us know. This is your time. Don't hold back. Don't leave us hanging either. Over here, yes. Did you hear that? Best ground and worst ground you've played at?
I can't say any of the non-league ones I'm playing at the minute, so bloody hell, it's like Cowfield. I think Aki away. That was fucking. I used to hate going there, but they always used to. No, I didn't go that one. I missed that one. Hebburn away. That's a bad one. Let me tell you. No.
Easy.
I think Aki away always was a bad one for me. But they always used to give me a goal as well, so it was always nice playing against them. But it was a shithole. And best is Old Trafford. Being a United fan, playing at Old Trafford, unbelievable.
Yeah, the fucking roof's leaking and fucking pitch. Yeah.
It worked then, though.
It was brand new when you were in there.
I played when we last won the league, so it was all right.
Fergie time and all that shit.
The best time, yeah.
Nigel, best ground you've ever played at? Not Old Trafford?
No, it wasn't that. No. I remember playing in that flipping game when we, for Sheffield Wednesday, we lost 3-2. And Alex Bruce scored in Fergie time about 98th minute and 102nd minute, so I think so. Definitely not. Obviously, the Wembley's got to be the best ground, obviously, for myself. The worst, Bramall Lane. Yeah, I'm a bit of that. No, I was going to say Old Trafford, but I couldn't say that, could I?
Will, same to you. Best ground you played at and worst ground?
Oh, best ground. Yeah, it has to be Old Trafford. Yeah, unfortunately.
Theatre of dreams.
But I would say...
What's good about it? What's good about Old Trafford?
I just liked it.
What about the atmosphere?
Brilliant.
Is it better than Anfield?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Anfield's full of
Yeah.
Scousers.
Yeah. Yeah, it was better. I would say one of the best grounds and worst grounds all at once was probably Millmore, because it was one of the best. But when obviously that new stand was built and it was half built, it was a little bit strange. So you've gone from a bit nostalgic of playing within, let's say Millmore wasn't the greatest, but the atmosphere it brought was unbelievable. You know, I hate to say it, I come here at Boxing Day and you don't have anything like you had over there. Obviously, you have to move on with times. That's gone. Brilliant. Let's move on. But that was brilliant over there. You know, fans would get behind you, all standing. But when it was changed and there was no seats in the new stand, it was a little bit odd. But yeah, it didn't feel right. But obviously, being a YT when Millmore was good, I don't know how many others known that there was a sauna in the away dressing room at Millmore.
I knew that.
Yeah. So that was always an added bonus being a YT, because you start at the ground. But yeah, it was a great ground. It had character. It had memories within the walls that then got stripped. And then it was a bit weird when it did. It was a bit bare.
And also had porta cabins as well.
Yeah. Those
That was a
porta
bad time.
cabins. Yeah. So it was a little bit strange. Better than Don Valley.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
We played our reserve games at Don Valley, so it wasn't too bad because no one cared about the reserve games anyway. But like I say, Millmore was just you'd stripped everything of what had happened there within that, and it was carrying on. So it was a little bit strange for me playing there. But obviously, you always put the shirt on and you did the best for the fans, and they still made it brilliant. But it wasn't the same as when I first started, and you had every stand. I mean, if there was a fire, God. But yeah, no, it was brilliant.
Matt, over to you.
I think I'd second Alfie though. Stanley was fucking terrible back in the day to play at, and Torquay as well. Torquay away. That was obviously because of the shift driving there and getting there was a load of crap. But best probably, obviously you're going to say Wembley because it's the pinnacle, isn't it? You know, it's the home ground of England and etc. And I had good memories there as well as a player. But I'd probably go with the likes of Anfield and St James's Park just for atmosphere wise.
We've not actually mentioned Football League Cup winner as well. Yourself.
Oh, mate, you don't have, yeah.
It's a fan. I think it needs mentioning. Winning any trophy is fantastic.
Yeah,
I didn't want to miss that out, but winning the Football League trophy as well. Was that with Birmingham?
Yeah.
Thoughts about that day, just to finish off.
Well, I didn't play, mate.
Okay. So don't talk to us too long about it. Did you get a medal?
I played in every single round. And I did well in every single round.
Wikipedia killed me though.
Started every single game and come to the final, mate. I'd done my meniscus. I'd hurt my meniscus, so unfortunately I couldn't play in the game. But I got a medal.
Would have been so good though.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Did Wikipedia not tell you that?
It didn't know. Damn. It's okay. We'll move on quickly.
Any
Any other questions from you guys?
Sacking.
Yes.
It just depends where you are, what situation you're in, what ambitions you have. So if you're in the Championship, you want to play in the Premier League, right? If you're on 10 grand a week, let's be honest, you want to earn 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a week, correct? You know, we all work here. It is what it is. If it's not going well at a club, and as a player like me, I've always wanted to play regardless of where I were. If I wasn't playing 2 or 3 games, I might have spat my dummy out and gone, listen, I want to play. So whether it was wanting to move higher or move somewhere where you're going to play, or whether it was for a better salary or whatever it might have been, obviously with a better salary comes a better. It means you're doing well. So maybe moving up and onwards, you know, that comes with the job. So yeah.
Fantastic. Guys, it's been so good to listen to you. It's been an amazing evening. I've learned so much. I'm sure you guys have as well. Please put your hands together. Matt Derbyshire, Will Hoskin,
Thank you.
Nigel Jensen, and Alfie. I just want to invite John Brecken back to the floor to say a few thank yous. Just be.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots.
Ravel, vicious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off in Rotherham.
The Rotherham Hospice means a lot to me, and it's 30 years now coming up. It was there for me and my family, especially my daughter who's working here tonight. And I'm sure it's touched a lot of you. I hope you don't need it, but it's there for you. It belongs to us. It belongs to us Rotherham people. We must keep it going. We've gone from probably needing 6 million a year to keep it going. We now need 10 million. Partly because of the national insurance going up, where the NHS don't have to pay it, but we're a charity, so we have to pay it. That's put 1.3 million on the bill. So that's what we're up against. But thankfully for you people, you're just unbelievable. You always come out and support the hospice. Support me as well, which I really thank you for that. And it's nights like this when we get these lads back. They've told you what Rotherham's all about. It's made something to their lives, and they're back here tonight helping to support an unbelievable cause. So I can't thank you enough. I know that the people at the hospice, if you ever want to go up there, the cafe and everything, go and have a coffee. It's not just up there for the end of life. It's a place that they've always got a smile on their face. I don't know how some of them work there, but that's by the way. But we're very proud of it. And we should all be very proud of it. Most of all, every one of you in here want to pat yourself on the back because you are the heart of this town. So thanks very much again, and we'll see you again, I'm sure. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Auction winners.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots.
Ravel, vicious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off in